Hey, I'm Jake Trobot, Director of Esports Strategy at Version 1 in Minnesota ROKKR, and I have joined with me Coach Brian and Coach Dan. This may not be public information, but I'm here to walk you guys through me stepping down as a coach for ROKKR and transitioning into more of a high-level role across ROKKR and Version 1. This was originally planned to take place toward the tail end of last season, but with sort of what was going on with ROKKR at the time and how quickly our season progressed, I decided to stay on full-time as a coach and made it my priority this offseason to find a replacement. And I could not be happier with the replacement I found in Dan. When the season ended, our players and Brian, all within 30 seconds of Dan tweeting he was a free agent, said, we need to go and get this guy. And, lo and behold, I'm just grateful that he's sitting on the couch next to us. So I think it may be helpful if, Dan, you talk about sort of the process of coming on board, and then Brian, how you think the relationship will be between you and Dan.
Yeah, so for me, obviously my last 2 seasons I've been benched. So after the benching of Surge, I kind of knew I was going to go into a coaching role. In hindsight, as some of you guys have watched, I'm deep into just knowledge and a system, and I've always had a good brain for COD. So I knew coaching was going to be probably my next step to go into my career. And when you kind of transitioning, I think it's easier to look at like a top 4 team. And you guys, like you said, towards the end of your season, were obviously won stage 5 and placed really good at champs. Could have done better. I think you guys got fourth. Yeah. Exactly. So I was just looking straight at the top 4 teams. You guys checked that box instantly. I was actually surprised because, like you said, as soon as I tweeted out, you were one of the first people, if not the first person, to hit me up. So, and you're pretty consistent in getting me. So I think it was an easy choice. And I've heard nothing but good things about ROKKR. Actually, was an option for the MW inaugural season. I'm sure you know. I don't know if you were on board yet. So I've always wanted to be a part of ROKKR, and I think it ended up being easy. And I think for me, myself too, being new to the coaching thing, I think having Brian help me out and having like someone there and a system already in place and just me kind of adding to it was going to make it easier for me.
Yeah, I think if you look at like all the top teams from last year as well, especially with FaZe and Toronto, FaZe had a 3-person coaching staff with RJ, Tupac, and Chris, and Toronto had a 3-person coaching staff, plus an analyst as well with Marky, Flux, and Joe, who was kind of behind the scenes doing stuff with them, although no one really knew about that one. So I think just adding on to what we already built last year is like the best way for us to improve. Like we brought back the same roster as last year. Yeah. The team performed really well toward the end of the season when they kind of got together in the first place. And just adding you and to kind of help us add more structure, especially to our hard point, our respawns, I think is going to go a long way.
Yeah, I was going to say, what do you think the biggest value add in bringing Dan on will be off rip for our team?
I think everyone on the team really respects Dan. He just stopped playing this year, so the level of respect is still really, really high from a player perspective, and I think they'll really value the things he's saying, especially during our scrims when it comes to hardpoint rotations and just how to play hardpoint as like a whole.
Yeah, I know for me when I was playing, like I would always look to you and how you would sort of lead your teams as how I wanted to mold and lead mine, and I think having emulated to be that person for my teams, it only felt right replacing myself with someone who I knew could fill that role equally as well, if not better. So I'm just so pumped.
Yeah, as an IGL too, it's kind of, I guess, like gassing myself, but my teams usually did really good in the very beginning too. Yeah. I like to pick up I play a lot of hardpoint pubs off the rip, and even if it's 6v6 compared to 4v4, you still learn a lot. So I think that's something that I'll bring to the team. And
you're a grinder.
Yeah, I'm a grinder. So it's going to be a little weird transitioning from player to coach, but I still want my like beginning schedule to my mentality is going to be like if I'm playing. So to be able to help them out, pick up respawn, because I think, as you guys know, and with those players, S&D is always going to be like a strong suit. Yeah. It's going to be really easy. I think all 4 of them are playmaker and major, and I'm not sure if Priesta comes from the S&D scene, but I know major does. So I know at S&D is something that I wouldn't have to worry about. Maybe just finding, maybe finding some nade spots or some nerd things for them. But I think respawn just going to be my main focus. And
hopefully this game has like some good nade spots, because we haven't really had that recently in COD with kind of Semtexes and like Flak Jacket on every single class.
I think that's going to be what is going to be interesting for me in the transition period, but it'll be fun.
Look, I think we're all super excited to have you here. I know our fans were thrilled. Our players were ecstatic. And I mean, Brian deserves some help because there were times last year where I was getting pulled in a million different directions.
Yeah, bro, you're just on calls all day, every day, man.
And like I said, halfway through the season, it became obvious I needed to jump back in. But having someone who's there full time, all the time, that has such a great mind for COD is only going to be a benefit to our team. So I speak on behalf of the organization and the players. We're pumped.
Yeah, I am too. I can't wait.
Sweet.